Oh, hey guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to do a bit of a presentation on the one of the best investment vehicles in Canada that we have is the tax-free savings account, also known as the TFSA. I realized that I've been presenting weekly updates on my TFSA and haven't really gone into the details of what it is and who can apply for it and get the benefits from it. So I thought I'd just get into the weeds a little bit and kind of get a teach everybody a little bit about it. So um, this short presentation will cover what a TFSA is, who it's for, who can apply for it, how much contribution each of us has based on, it's kind of based on what year you turned 18. If you're a younger folk, you might not have as much room as some of us older people, and then also some pros and cons that our a TFSA has compared to an RRSP or a registered retirement savings plan. So we'll get into it right now. So what is a TFSA? It was introduced in 2009. It allows investment income to grow tax free. So all of your capital gains that are realized within a TFSA, you don't have to pay income tax on them when you withdraw the funds. So it doesn't get taxed by the government when you take that money out. It's tax free. The TFSA can hold a whole bunch of different kinds of investments. You can have just simple cash in it, like in a savings account. You can have mutual funds, stocks, bonds, GICs. Pretty much anything that you normally invest in the stock market can be inside of a TFSA. The contribution room that you have carries over from the year that you turn 18. So if you don't make use of the TFSA right away, you don't lose that money. So it carries over until, and it keeps building every year, depending on how much contribution room the government adds every year. You'll eventually, if you're able to make use of that room that you didn't take advantage of earlier on in life. Unlike an RRSP, the contributions that you make are not tax deductible. So with an RRSP, the contributions that you put into your RRSP get removed from your taxable income for that year, and you don't pay tax on that income. Whereas with a TFSA, that money is contributed after tax, so the tax has been taken off of it. But the difference is that you don't pay tax on the money when you withdraw it later on. Whereas with a RRSP, that withdrawals would count as taxable income later on in life when you withdraw the money. The other difference is with a TFSA is that you can take the money out at any time, tax-free again, and then you can actually contribute the money back in again starting in January 1st of the following year. So you regain that contribution room. Who can apply for a TFSA? Anybody that's a Canadian citizen that has a valid social insurance number can apply for open up a TFSA. You have to be at least 18 years of age, but otherwise there's no restrictions. So it's a great idea to start as early as you can, because that money that can grow tax-free again, and it's best to do it as early as possible. This is the chart so far, up to date from 2009, how much contribution limit we have. So if you're lucky enough or unlucky enough to have turned 18 back in 2009, at this point in 2021, you would have $75,500 of cumulative total to contribute to your TFSA. If you hadn't, if you just turned 18 this year in 2021, then you would only have $6,000. But every year, the government is increasing the contribution limit year over year, kind of indexed to inflation, I believe now. So you can see the last few years it's been between $5,500 and $6,000 every year that that money gets added on. And again, that carries over. So if you don't contribute the total limit that you're allocated, you can make up for it in later years. Get into a little bit of the pros and cons of TFSAs. A pro obviously is that the investments will grow tax-free as long as they're within the TFSA, and you don't pay income taxes on the funds when you withdraw them. You can withdraw the funds at any time, unlike an RSP, where if you withdraw the funds, that contribution limit is lost forever. If you one of the bad things about a TFSA is if you, not bad, but you just need to keep an eye on it, is if you mistakenly over contribute, the CRA will charge you 1% of that excess amount that's in the account. So for example, if you over contribute by $2,000, you'll be charged $20 per month until that balance is brought back underneath your limit. Another downside, if you were looking to hold American stocks that are paying dividends, the TFSA, you have to pay there's a 15% withholding tax that is taken by the American government before you even get the dividend. So if you're looking to hold dividend paying stocks from an American company, like on the New York Stock Exchange, it's better to hold it within an RRSP, because there's an agreement between the Canadian and the American government that there will be no withholding tax on dividends in the RRSP. And the other thing about an RSP is that, about a TFSA, is that it doesn't expire. So with an RRSP at a certain age, I think it's 70 years old or so, you have to contribute. You have to convert it from an RRSP into an RRIF, Registered Retirement Income Fund, and start drawing down on the money. Whereas with a TFSA, you can keep it as long as you want. I mean, there's no expiration date based on your age. The other one of them, if you're not careful with the TFSA, you can lose contribution room. So this is an example, actually, right straight from the Canadian Revenue Agency's website, is that if somebody contributed $5,000 in 2020, and the value of those stocks actually decreased. So let's say they were reduced to $1,000 because maybe they, invested in risky investments, and they lost a bunch of money. And then that person was like, well, I want to get out of this. So they withdrew the $1,000 and closed their TFSA. So the $4,000 that was lost is not considered a withdrawal. So the amount that would form the part of the calculation for the amount that they could contribute again the following year would only be that $1,000. So they would have lost that $4,000 of contribution room going forward. So it's important to not invest over your risk tolerance within the TFSA, and the same could go the other way. If you invested $5,000 and within a year you went up to $10,000 or $15,000, or who knows, and you withdrew that money, then suddenly that extra income that you withdrew gets added on to your contribution room for the following years. So it can go the other way, but it can be risky if you end up losing contribution room, because you can never get it back. And then I'll just end with a little quote from Warren Buffett. I'm sure everybody knows Warren Buffett from Berkshire Hathaway. If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things that you do need. So it's just kind of a reminder that it's important to live within your means and not spend money on things that you don't need, because eventually it's going to catch up with you. So that's it. thanks for paying attention. Hopefully, hopefully this is a bit of education for people. I know, like, when I first started, I thought TFSA, because they call it a savings account, tax-free savings account. So you think it's only, you can only have a savings account inside of it, but actually it can be, like I said, any kind of investment vehicle within it. So it can be a bit confusing. So if you like this kind of stuff, again, like and subscribe, and put any comments down below, and we'll try and answer them. I'm going to try and do some of the more training stuff for different kinds of accounts and things going forward. So hopefully this is educational to people, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you. Bye.